Hello, and I'm back with some more hot vintage action. Where it's this time we're gonna be playing a Sultai Gush Control Storm deck. Where it's the deck is gonna seek to control a game through superior draw power in the form of things like Gush, Preordain, and a slew of broken draw spells like Recall and Merchant Scroll to get Recall or Brainstorm or Dig Through Time. And once that happens, once we have superior card advantage, we can control the game through our counter suite, Force Will, Mana Drain, Mental Misstep, Flusterstorm, Proactive Disruption in the form of Thoughtseize, and I've got some added utility in the form of Snapcaster Mage and Regrowth, which I really like having these as singletons when I'm trying to build a Gifts pile. And Gift is another broken draw spell that it's a little more difficult to use because you need to build piles on the fly, but it's too good of a card to be passing up. It's simply too powerful. Where it's the main kills are the main kill is through Tendrils of Agony, but we also have Talron to close out a game if necessary, and Jason the Mind Sculptor can ultimate if necessary. Where it's what makes the deck tick is we have the Fast Bond Gush engine, which Gush says draw 2 cards for 5 mana, but has the alternate casting cost of return 2 islands to its owner's hand. And Fast Bond says play as many lands you want in a single turn. Take 1 damage for each land you play beyond the first. So what Gush is essentially going to be doing for us is saying draw 2 cards, gain 2 mana, and it's going to be a free spell. Where this is pretty insane because I don't really actually need to explain that. We could just kind of cast spells or float mana, return the lands to our hand, replay them, and we're just going to overwhelm the opponent with card advantage like that. At the end of the game, or in the late game, we have Yawgmoth's Will, which can be just backbreaking, where all the cards we spent trying to draw more cards or counter spells can come back, and sometimes it could be essentially paying black and 2 colorless to effectively draw 20 cards for the turn, which is completely busted and insane. Talron is great as a singleton, whereas we don't need to dip into a 4th color and really make our mana base more unstable for Young Pyromancer. And he's great as a singleton because, unlike Young Pyromancer, we don't need to flood the board with 1/1s. Typically, we can stick him and then try and play a control game, and just by naturally countering spells and casting cantrips, maybe 4 or 5 activations is enough to put the game out of reach for an opponent, because we have an army of 2/2 flyers which can block and attack and just serve as great walls. In the sideboard, we have Neil Spellbombs to deal with opposing Yawgmoth's Will decks, or Treasure Cruise decks in the form of these Gush, Aggro, Pyromancer, Delver decks. We have Trigon Predator, Nature's Claim, Hercules Recall, and a basic forest, up to K2 sometimes, to play against these workshop decks, where it's Trigon Predator is a backbreaking card once it resolves, whereas if they cannot lock us out of the game quick enough, Trigon Predator can easily get us back in by bumping for 2 every turn, and then just steadily taking out their prison effects. Nature's Claim also is just the most efficient answer, where it's destroy an artifact, destroy an enchantment for a single mana, and we really don't care about the gaining 4 life clause. Hercules Recall at the end of a turn can totally blow out a shop's deck, whereas we could set it up to cast Hercules Recall in their end step, and then once we're free of sphere effects, we could untap, cast Yawgsville, and went through Storm. The basic forest is a great hedge against these shop decks as well, because they're going to seek to supplement their prison mana denial game with wastelands, and because all of our sideboard hate requires green, being able to fetch up a green land that cannot be, or a land that taps for green that cannot be wasted away, is awesome. Toxic Deluge is great against these fish-style Pyromancer Delver decks by just being able to totally wipe away their field. And Abrupt Decay is a great catch-all against things, again, like Young Pyromancer or Oath of Druids. And without further ado, let's see how a game goes.